السلام عليكم جميعا. I would like to talk about my presentation, antimicrobial activity and genetic fingerprinting of Qarthamas tenuis grown in Palestine. Just to correct the idea, Palestine Polytechnic University is different from the Hebrew University because we have two universities, so we are from the Palestine Polytechnic University. Okay, concerning to the climate change, as our colleagues from the morning are talking about, the climate change is a serious crisis in our life. So we have to put hand on hand to resist this climate change, to protect our generations for better life. So one of the problems is the extensive use of the chemicals such as antibiotics or herbicides, pesticides during the agriculture, and so on. So one of these problems come from in the way that translocates some residues to the human body, besides the heavy metals which is transferred to the human bodies and cause a serious problem to the human. Okay, so that biodiversity in the Mediterranean region is very high in considering the plants from point of view, so because I am botanist, okay, and the richness of is due to the geographical position of Palestine with its varied geography, geology, ecology, and climate. So we decided to study one species, which is about the Qarthamas tenuis, and this is as a plant, is a herbaceous plant with many thorns on its leaves, shoots, etc. Belongs to the Asteraceae family with more than 47 species, and with the variation also for the color. Qarthamas tenuis compositions, there's phytochemicals in this plant based on the fatty compounds, fluid compounds, flavonoids, and other compounds which are the bioactive compounds for the plants to give resilience to these plants against the environmental predators, whatever. Okay, there is many uses for the Qarthamas in medical use, industrial use, or traditional uses. In addition to the idea to start this plant, it was because the British mandate in 1940 on Palestine, there is some messages. There is almost 33 plants as ready plants, and they decided to eradicate these plants. So from this point, we decided to study these plants. It's right now, it is resilient and it's persistent right now. It's not extincted. So this plant is good fighter against the whole methods used to get rid of it. Okay, the objective of this study is to study the antimicrobial activity and toxic activity and DNA fingerprinting of this plant to database. Okay, we collect these plants from Hebron, Nablus, and Nile Valley discretes because it's the areas where the normal distribution of the plants. We have the extraction methods to extract by 4 different solutions: ethanol, acetone, and dichloromethane, and distilled water. After the extraction, we use serial dilution and examine their antibacterial activity by using other dilution methods for the 4 types of bacteria, gram-positive, gram-negative bacteria, and also the fungi, which is Candida. And we for Candida also we use the subrotic was agar, Antioxidant activity, the same extraction procedures we used, and we have used the TPPH as scavenging procedure. Radical scavenging activities of economic extraction against the TPPH radical. Here is the procedure. Finally, we got the extract and we used the spectrophotometer to test the activity measured against according to this equation, and the molecular analysis in DNA extraction. We used the polymerase genomic DNA purification test kit, and we used different 15 marker for rabbit to identify this species genetically as a fingerprinting for this species. And after the extractions and run the electrophoresis to see the accumulation of the genetic materials for these primers. Results for antibacterial activity. We can see here the plants possess antimicrobial activity for against Staphylococcus aureus, Staphylococcus Escherichia coli, and Klebsiella, Candida albicans. By ethanol, there is activity for against all kinds of the 4 different species that we used. With acetone, Klebsiella doesn't work against Klebsiella, but against other kinds it works. Dichloromethane extractions is very good results, high results against the gram-positive bacteria, except for Klebsiella, which seems to be resistant. And the Candida there is also activity. By distilled water, there is activity against most of them except for Staphylococcus aureus. If we compare the extract, the solvents, so we can see dichloromethane has the highest activity against Escherichia coli and Staphylococcus aureus. However, ethanol has activity against most of them. So we have to manage which method we have to use to get better results against antimicrobial activity. For antioxidant activity, and there is also a promising results for antioxidant activity of the extract of these plants. So we can use a mix of them. So in this way, phytochemicals in these plants are highly concentrated, and which is our mean of adaptation against the harsh environmental conditions that these plants live in. The best solvents are dichloromethane and ethanol, and other features maybe this plant possess to resist the harsh environmental conditions, such as cutaneous bodies, needle-like and illustrative size, but also appearance of the plants. All of these things from morphology make these plants more resistant to the harsh environmental in the arid and semi-arid conditions. Molecular analysis, we can see there is a primers we used, some of them for polymorphic contents. So we can use these primers which have, for example, 470, which give numbers here as genetic markers for these plants to detect it or identify it once again. And here is the rapid result by electrophoresis. In conclusion, the highest antimicrobial activity was from the extract obtained by dichloromethane against Escherichia coli, Staphylococcus Candida. The ethanol extract was active against all the species. Acetone extract was the most effective against Candida, and the water extract possesses moderate activity. So this plant possesses a promising antioxidant activity, and some primers we have used could be used as genetic markers for this species. Recommendation: we can recommend this plant to use for formulation of new antimicrobial agents, and to combine this activity as antimicrobial and antioxidant together, we get to be as a substitute for synthetic antibiotics. And further research is needed also to study the other kinds of Carthamus species in Palestine and go ahead in this area. And finally, I would like to thank the European Union Peace Building Initiative for the projects we have got from them, and we will also express our thanks to Al-Qasimi Academic College and to Palestine Institute for Biodiversity and Sustainability at Bethlehem, and also to Dr. Sarian. Thank you for everybody.
Thank you very much for your nice talk. We have conducted a few years ago a search, and we have found that there is some correlation between antioxidant and antimicrobial activity of plant extracts. Have you tested if there is a correlation between the fractions that you have seen that they are active as antimicrobial, they are active also as antioxidant?
Normally, the bioactive compounds in plants are the active compounds that works against many things, such as antimicrobial activity, whatever antibiotics or antifungal or whatever, and also as antioxidant activity. So the foreign compounds, flavonoids, all these groups are working as phytochemicals also. So I believe strongly that these compounds, which is working as antioxidant, there is correlation to work as antimicrobial. But for these plants, the work is going on. This is preliminary results right now.
Another question: do you think there is a difference between the gram-positive and gram-negative and its toward antioxidant and antimicrobial activity?
Sure, there is. Gram-negative bacteria is more virulent than gram-positive in general, but there is species specific. So for Staphylococcus, different from Escherichia coli.
The antioxidant active molecules are more active on gram-positive than gram-negative, or vice versa?
We didn't test it yet.
What is the mechanism of the antibacterial activity?
Mechanism?
Yes.
Generally, we didn't use this. Let's study these mechanisms on this plant, just extraction and to see the activity. But if you're asking about the mechanism in general, yes, there is working on to hydrolyze the proteins to attack sometimes the plasma membrane of the bacteria and so on.